Mia, can you send me that?
Mia, can you send me that?
Hey, can you send me that?
Sure. Woo! It's incredible.
The head man of the Tar Heel Wrestling program in his 8th season, Coleman Scott. And Matty really likes to talk about building through a season, getting to the postseason, and he has had a lot of success with these Tar Heels.
That's been his focus since he took the reins here in Chapel Hill, is to have this team best prepared for the postseason. That growth will be on display here tonight.
Steve Garland, a longtime head coach for the Cavaliers, also won a ACC title back in '97 at 125 pounds.
National runner-up at 125 back in his wrestling career. And a long-time head man at his alma mater.
Typically, especially in the postseason, you start at 125. Tonight, though, we're going to start at heavyweight. Aiden Gutridge getting the nod for the Tar Heels. A little bit of a change, and it's something that Carolina has dealt with all season long. Just a redshirt freshman getting the nod here in an ACC duel.
Yeah, the Tar Heels have not fielded the same duel lineup in any duel this year. It's Gutridge making his first ACC appearance of the season. His last action, a 5-1 win in the duel against Brown back on January the 14th. Comes in 12-7.
Gutridge, the youngster, taking on the veteran and the senior out of Jackson, Michigan, Ethan Weatherspoon for the Cavaliers here.
Like Carolina, change at heavyweight for Virginia. Jesse Knight was listed as an or on the probables. Knight wrestled at heavyweight a week ago for the Cavaliers, but now it's Weatherspoon who will make the appearance. These are 3 in a row.
This season, Weatherspoon has wrestled mostly at 197, so a step up in weight class. And on the year, 5-9, 9-18 on the career with the Hoos.
Steve Garland said even though Weatherspoon is a little bit undersized, there's a takedown. Aiden Gutridge strikes first. But Kyle, even though Weatherspoon's a bit undersized, Steve Garland likes this matchup at 285.
Gutridge 13-7 this season. For the career, 14-13 for the Tar Heels. Not his first dual action, though. He got the nod against Duke as well for the Tar Heels. Came up short in that one, though. Interesting starting at heavyweight versus 125 because it's such a contrast in styles. You have these bursts like you see from Gutridge to get the takedown at the heavyweight, but a lot of it is a little bit slower though.
Yeah, the quick strike, if you will, not a aspect of the heavyweight bout. When we talked to Coleman Scott and asked him where this duel would start off, he said that he thought it would be 125. Here's an escape point. Weatherspoon is on the board, but Gutridge right back with 2 more.
He's got him in a tough spot here, trying to turn him over, and this is where that size can come in handy for Gutridge. Nearly had some near fall points as Weatherspoon gets back to his stomach.
A good scramble there from Weatherspoon. He was on his back.
Escape point goes to Weatherspoon. I think they actually did give him 2 on the near fall. A 6-2 lead for the redshirt freshman Gutridge for the Tar Heels. That'll do it for the first round. A good one for the youngster.
And Kyle, let's look back at those 2 near fall points that Gutridge recorded. He's able to turn Weatherspoon onto his side there and just for a moment right there had him on his back. And Weatherspoon does well to quickly flip him over and prevent being pinned in the first period.
It's been a really interesting match here with the speed going to Weatherspoon, but Guttridge using the size difference and the leverage to his advantage.
It's a real clash of styles.
Weatherspoon trying to roll him up there, loses position, and we're going to get an injury pause here. See the referees immediately blowing the whistle with the way he fell.
Virginia training staff out to check on Weatherspoon as Guttridge receives the escape point to build his lead to 5.
The knee that they're looking at on Weatherspoon already bandaged up. Take another look at this as these two started scrambling, rolling around, and Weatherspoon got what appears to be a knee caught up. You could see it there as he rolled under trying to get control. Don't think it was anything intentional, but wrenched on the knee there a bit. ACC foes, they've matched up a lot, and man, it is really close historically when you look at the head-to-head matchups between Carolina and Virginia. Just a few duels separate them.
And you can't get much closer than the duel last year in Charlottesville.
I mean, you literally can't. They ended it with each team winning 5 matches, and it was 16-16. Carolina got the win 17-16 because of one major decision, and that was the only reason.
Went to criteria, which was a favor in the Tar Heels for most points, so that put them ahead 17-16 for the dual win. Shows you how competitive the series has been through the years.
See the toughness of Weatherspoon able to continue on in the match here as Guttridge receives the escape point there. And on a single leg, Weatherspoon couldn't hold on though.
Good defense there from Guttridge. Steve Garland said that a key for Virginia in this duel tonight, they have to finish their shots. Guttridge is preventing Weatherspoon from being able to do that so far.
Another shot from Weatherspoon. Good defense, Guttridge able to walk out of it. Coleman Scott a couple of weeks ago, actually it's been about a month now because Carolina hasn't been home for so long, but had an addition to his coaching staff. Had his roster already, really liked the coaches he had, but got the opportunity to put a big man, a heavyweight onto the coaching staff and help out. Abdel Fattah, the one up on the sideline here, yelling in the instructions to the young Guttridge.
Guttridge with this 6-point advantage. Kyle, you know these heavyweight bouts, these are traditionally low scoring and frequently at the end of a duel. But if Guttridge is able to score bonus points, that's a major tone setter for Carolina to get the night started.
That was something that when we spoke with Coleman, he talked about since the new year, what has been different about this Carolina team. He said it's the presence that they go into duels with. And you're right, getting that bonus point win right off the bat, it's going to continue. Coleman on the sideline watching his young freshman with an 8-2 lead, second period about to come to a close. From what we've seen so far, that's a big gap for Weatherspoon to make up. Hasn't been able to hold on to those legs, work on a takedown, just 2 points, both coming from an escape.
Yeah, 2 escape points back in the first period. He's got the chance to earn a third here as he'll start on bottom in this third period.
Been on the bottom so much, you could see the heavy breathing as this round started, but also keep in mind that injury that he had. He may be able to continue, but I'm sure it doesn't feel that great.
Your Guttridge, that second period, had some great defense. Just need to keep that up, put this one away, and give the Tar Heels the victory in the first bout of the night. Guttridge just one bonus point victory this season. Came in the F&M Open. 8-0 win over Chase Thompson of Franklin Marshall.
And fighting Weatherspoon, trying to get around the edge. Almost looked like a defensive end there. Just too close to the edge of the circle. Looks like we're going to get a pause, some blood on Guttridge.
Redshirt freshman being tended to by the training staff.
So we talk about major decision bonus point wins. In case you're not completely familiar with how it works in the NCAA and scoring, any decision is a 3-point win for that wrestler, for their team. You get a major decision, you're going up above 7 points. Now you're into 8 territory, 8 to 14. That gets you 4. You get above 14 to 15, and you're in tech fall range. The only one that's better than tech fall, obviously a pinfall, that'll get you 6 points.
4 team points for a major decision victory. 5 team points awarded for a tech fall.
And we told you last year these two teams tied. It was 16-16. Each had 5 wins in their bouts, but it was because of one major decision win that Carolina got the extra point and the win.
Those bonus points so critical. You see Muhammad Abdel Fattah with the words of encouragement to Aiden Guttridge as they've got to clean that blood off the top of his headgear there.
There's Big Mo, new coach for the Tar Heels, and Coleman Scott really excited to get him on the staff to use his experience from the Olympics multiple times, and he was a qualifier. Just over a minute here for Weatherspoon to try and make something happen. Not a lot of riding time, just under a minute for Weatherspoon. If you get over that minute, you get that extra bonus point at the end. Trying to get past the hand fighting of Weatherspoon.
And you see Guttridge not being very aggressive here. Doesn't want to leave himself vulnerable, but here comes Weatherspoon.
I've got to give the freshman a lot of credit. Every time Weatherspoon has gotten a leg, he's been able to work his way out of it.
With relative ease as well.
It's something that the Tar Heels had been working on here the last couple of weeks, is not just offense, but defense as well. Under 20 to go. Looks like Weatherspoon going to fall here in the first matchup as the redshirt freshman Guttridge will pick up his first ACC win as a Tar Heel, and Carolina on the board first with a 3-0 advantage after the decision.
Very solid start for Aiden Guttridge and the Tar Heels. He was the aggressor in the first period, built up the lead, scored those couple of near fall points, and then terrific defense in the second and third period to hold off the shots from Weatherspoon. Guttridge puts the Tar Heels on the board with 3 early points.
Last meeting, mentioned it a couple of times, super close. It's actually the second time in the last 3 meetings between these two teams that the winner won by just 1 point.
As narrow as you can get, each team winning 5 matches a year ago. Steve Garland's team now here in Chapel Hill searching for the victory on the road. Against a Tar Heel team, Kyle, that's still in search of their first dual win at home this season. They're 0-3 in home duels, falling to Michigan, Ohio State, and Appalachian State. But as we talked about right at the top of the show, that was a time earlier in the season where they didn't have Austin O'Connor in the lineup, or he was just returning. The Carolina lineup much more solid than it was in November or December.
Jack Wagner out there at 125 for the Tar Heels. Patrick McCormick, 5th-year senior for the Cavaliers. 3-0 Tar Heel lead after the win at heavyweight. Throughout the evening, we'll give you 2 matches, take a quick break, let everybody get a breather, get a drink, and then come back with 2 more.
Patrick McCormick, fifth-year senior for Virginia. He is hungry, Kyle, because back-to-back matches for him have resulted in major decision defeats. 14-1 to Colton Camacho of Pitt his last time out.
Wagner in on the single leg, has now got a little bit of control of that left one. McCormick holding on to the waist. Still no control. There it is as Wagner picks up the first points of the match.
Wagner scores the takedown. He scratches first 2-0.
Wagner, the grad student out of Bettendorf, Iowa, actually started his career as a freshman back in 16-17 at the University of Iowa. Posted a 17-7 record there. That was at 133. It's not often that you see a guy as a freshman be at a weight class and drop throughout their career.
Yeah, frequently you'll see wrestlers come in and jump up one class, maybe even two throughout their 5 or 6 year career, especially in this era with the COVID year. You do not see dropping down very much at all.
I think you got to give Wagner and the Tar Heel coaching staff some credit, though, of recognizing what your body is best at, where you can push it to. And if you're able to get down to weight at 125, but then put some back on, it's going to give you an advantage.
And where your team needs you in the dual lineup.
Really good point.
Good attack.
And on another single leg, make it 2 points on the takedown. 4-1 lead for the Tar Heels. Wagner. After he started his career at Iowa, decided to transfer after a couple of years and spent the last 4 seasons with Northern Iowa. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, that sounds like 6 years. But he had a redshirt year and then that COVID year. He's the last of the group that get that 6-7 year career. Decided to come to Chapel Hill to finish his season off, or his year off. Trying to roll McCormick over there, but Virginia wrestler able to get back to his stomach.
But check out the riding time that Wagner is racking up. If you're new to wrestling, if a wrestler finishes the match with over 1 minute of riding time advantage over his opponent, that is an extra point. So critical when it comes to potential bonus points in the form of a major decision.
Trying to work up the body here. Almost end of the period here, but a good one for Wagner to open things up with a couple of takedowns as he's got the 4-1 lead.
And Kyle, as we take a look back at the second takedown, this quick shot from Wagner has the hands up top, able to drop it with the left hand, go for the left leg, catch McCormick and bring him down to the mat for 2.
You mentioned McCormick being hungry, not just in this season, but I think for the career. In his final season in college, has been a 2-time NCAA qualifier, but here's your last go.
You know that the career does not last to next season, and whatever memories you'll take away, whatever accomplishments from this last season, this is it.
McCormick also a 2-time All-Academy team for the ACC, and that's something that Virginia and their coach especially really hang their hat on, and we'll get a little deeper into just how good they have been both academically and on the mat.
The same dual lineup in any dual this year. It's Gutridge making his first ACC appearance of the season. His last action, a 5-1 win in the duel against Brown back on January the 14th. Comes in 12-7.
Gutridge, the youngster, taking on the veteran and the senior out of Jackson, Michigan, Ethan Weatherspoon for the Cavaliers here.
Like Carolina, change at heavyweight for Virginia. Jesse Knight was listed as an or on the probables. Knight wrestled at heavyweight a week ago for the Cavaliers, but now it's Weatherspoon who will make the appearance. These are 3 in a row.
This season, Weatherspoon has wrestled mostly at 197, so a step up in weight class. And on the year, 5-9, 9-18 on the career with the Hoos.
Steve Garland said, even though Weatherspoon is a little bit undersized, there's a takedown. Aiden Gutridge strikes first. But Kyle, even though Weatherspoon's a bit undersized, Steve Garland likes this matchup at 285.
Guttridge 13-7 this season. For the career, 14-13 for the Tar Heels. Not his first dual action, though. He got the nod against Duke as well for the Tar Heels. Came up short in that one, though. Interesting starting at heavyweight versus 125 because it's such a contrast in styles. You have these bursts like you see from Guttridge to get the takedown at the heavyweight, but a lot of it is a little bit slower though.
Yeah, the quick strike, if you will, not a aspect of the heavyweight bout. When we talked to Coleman Scott and asked him where this duel would start off, he said that he thought it would be 125. There's an escape point. Weatherspoon's on the board, but Guttridge right back with 2 more.
He's got him in a tough spot here, trying to turn him over, and this is where that size can come in handy for Guttridge. Nearly had some near fall points as Weatherspoon gets back to his stomach.
A good scramble there from Weatherspoon. He was on his back.
Escape point goes to Weatherspoon. I think they actually did give him 2 on the near fall. A 6-2 lead for the redshirt freshman Guttridge for the Tar Heels. That'll do it for the first round. A good one for the youngster.
And Kyle, let's look back at those 2 near fall points that Guttridge recorded. He's able to turn Weatherspoon onto his side there. And just for a moment, right there, had him on his back. And Weatherspoon does well to quickly flip him over and prevent being pinned in the first period.
It's been a really interesting match here with the speed going to Weatherspoon, but Guttridge using the size difference and the leverage to his advantage.
It's a real clash of styles.
Weatherspoon trying to roll him up there, loses position, and we're going to get an injury pause here. See the referees immediately blowing the whistle with the way he fell.
Virginia training staff out to check on Weatherspoon as Guttridge receives the escape point to build his lead to 5.
The knee that they're looking at on Weatherspoon already bandaged up. Take another look at this as these two started scrambling, rolling around, and Weatherspoon got what appears to be a knee caught up. You could see it there as he rolled under trying to get control. Don't think it was anything intentional, but wrenched on the knee there a bit. ACC foes, they've matched up a lot, and man, it is really close historically when you look at the head-to-head matchups between Carolina and Virginia. Just a few duels separate them.
And you can't get much closer than the duel last year in Charlottesville.
I mean, you literally can't. They ended it with each team winning 5 matches, and it was 16-16. Carolina got the win 17-16 because of one major decision, and that was the only reason.
Went to criteria, which was a favor in the Tar Heels for most points, so that put them ahead 17-16 for the dual win. Shows you how competitive the series has been through the years.
See the toughness of Weatherspoon able to continue on in the match here as Guttridge receives the escape point there. And on a single leg, Weatherspoon couldn't hold on though.
Good defense there from Guttridge. Steve Garland said that a key for Virginia in this duel tonight, they have to finish their shots. Guttridge is preventing Weatherspoon from being able to do that so far.
There's another shot from Weatherspoon. Good defense. Gutridge able to walk out of it. Coleman Scott a couple of weeks ago, actually it's been about a month now because Carolina hasn't been home for so long, but had an addition to his coaching staff. Had his roster already, really liked the coaches he had, but got the opportunity to put a big man, a heavyweight onto the coaching staff and help out. Abdel Fattah, the one up on the sideline here, yelling in the instructions to the young Gutridge.
Gutridge with this 6-point advantage. Kyle, you know these heavyweight bouts, these are traditionally low scoring and frequently at the end of a duel. But if Gutridge is able to score bonus points, that's a major tone setter for Carolina to get the night started.
That was something that when we spoke with Coleman, he talked about since the new year, what has been different about this Carolina team. He said it's the presence that they go into duels with. And you're right, getting that bonus point win right off the bat, it's going to continue. Coleman on the sideline watching his young freshman with an 8-2 lead, second period about to come to a close. From what we've seen so far, that's a big gap for Weatherspoon to make up. Hasn't been able to hold on to those legs, work on a takedown, just 2 points, both coming from an escape.
Yeah, 2 escape points back in the first period. He's got the chance to earn a third here as he'll start on bottom in this third period.
Been on the bottom so much, you could see the heavy breathing as this round started, but also keep in mind that injury that he had. He may be able to continue, but I'm sure it doesn't feel that great.
Your Gutridge, that second period, had some great defense. Just need to keep that up, put this one away, and give the Tar Heels the victory in the first bout of the night. Gutridge just 1 bonus point victory this season. Came in the F&M Open. 8-0 win over Chase Thompson of Franklin Marshall.
And fighting Weatherspoon, trying to get around the edge. Almost looked like a defensive end there. Just too close to the edge of the circle. Looks like we're going to get a pause. Some blood on Gutridge.
Redshirt freshman being tended to by the training staff.
So we talk about major decision bonus point wins. In case you're not completely familiar with how it works in the NCAA and scoring, any decision is a 3-point win for that wrestler, for their team. You get a major decision, you're going up above 7 points. Now you're into 8 territory, 8 to 14. That gets you 4. You get above 14 to 15, and you're in tech fall range. The only one that's better than tech fall, obviously a pinfall, that'll get you 6 points.
14 points for a major decision victory. 5 team points awarded for a tech fall.
And we told you last year these two teams tied. It was 16-16. Each had 5 wins in their bouts, but it was because of one major decision win that Carolina got the extra point and the win.
Those bonus points so critical. You see Muhammad Abdel Fattah with the words of encouragement to Aiden Gutridge as they've got to clean that blood off the top of his headgear there.
There's Big Mo, new coach for the Tar Heels, and Coleman Scott really excited to get him on the staff to use his experience from the Olympics multiple times, and he was a qualifier. Just over a minute here for Weatherspoon to try and make something happen. Not a lot of riding time, just under a minute for Weatherspoon. That, but if you get over that minute, you get that extra bonus point at the end. Trying to get past the hand fighting of Weatherspoon.
And you see Gutridge not being very aggressive here. Doesn't want to leave himself vulnerable, but here comes Weatherspoon.
I've got to give the freshman a lot of credit. Every time Weatherspoon has gotten a leg, he's been able to work his way out of it.
With relative ease as well.
Something that the Tar Heels had been working on here the last couple of weeks is Not just offense, but defense as well. Under 20 to go. Looks like Weatherspoon going to fall here in the first matchup as the redshirt freshman Guttridge will pick up his first ACC win as a Tar Heel, and Carolina on the board first with a 3-0 advantage after the decision.
Very solid start for Aiden Guttridge and the Tar Heels. He was the aggressor in the first period, built up the lead, scored those couple of near fall points, and then terrific defense in the second and third period to hold off the shots from Weatherspoon. Guttridge puts the Tar Heels on the board with 3 early points.
Last meeting, mentioned it a couple of times, super close. It's actually the second time in the last 3 meetings between these two teams that the winner won by just 1 point.
As narrow as you can get, each team winning 5 matches a year ago. Steve Garland's team now here in Chapel Hill searching for the victory on the road against a Tar Heel team, Kyle, that's still in search of their first dual win at home this season. They're 0-3 in home duels, falling to Michigan, Ohio State, and Appalachian State. But as we talked about right at the top of the show, that was a time earlier in the season where they didn't have Austin O'Connor in the lineup, or he was just returning. The Carolina lineup much more solid than it was in November or December.
Jack Wagner out there at 125 for the Tar Heels. Patrick McCormick, 5th-year senior for the Cavaliers. 3-0 Tar Heel lead after the win at heavyweight. Throughout the evening, we'll give you 2 matches, take a quick break, let everybody get a breather, get a drink, and then come back with 2 more.
Patrick McCormick, 5th-year senior for Virginia. He is hungry, Kyle, because back-to-back matches for him have resulted in major decision defeats. 14-1 to Colton Camacho of Pitt his last time out.
Wagner in on the single leg, has now got a little bit of control of that left one. McCormick holding on to the waist. Still no control, there it is, as Wagner picks up the first points of the match.
Wagner scores the takedown. He stretches first 2-0.
Wagner, the grad student out of Bettendorf, Iowa, actually started his career as a freshman back in 16-17 at the University of Iowa. Posted a 17-7 record there. That was at 133. It's not often that you see a guy as a freshman be at a weight class and drop throughout their career.
Yeah, frequently you'll see wrestlers come in and jump up 1 class, maybe even 2 throughout their 5 or 6-year career, especially in this era with the COVID year. You do not see dropping down very much at all.
I think you got to give Wagner and the Tar Heel coaching staff some credit, though, of recognizing what your body is best at, where you can push it to. And if you're able to get down to weight at 125, but then put some back on, it's going to give you an advantage.
And where your team needs you in the dual lineup.
Really good point.
Good attack.
And on another single leg, make it 2 points on the takedown. 4-1 lead for the Tar Heels. Wagner. After he started his career at Iowa, decided to transfer after a couple of years and spent the last 4 seasons with Northern Iowa. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, that sounds like 6 years. But he had a redshirt year and then that COVID year. He's the last of the group that get that 6-7 year career. Decided to come to Chapel Hill to finish his season off, or his year off. Trying to roll McCormick over there, but Virginia wrestler able to get back to his stomach.
But check out the riding time that Wagner is racking up. If you're new to wrestling, if a wrestler finishes the match with over 1 minute of riding time advantage over his opponent, that is an extra point. So critical when it comes to potential bonus points in the form of a major decision.
Trying to work up the body here. almost end of the period here, but a good one for Wagner to open things up with a couple of takedowns as he's got the 4-1 lead.
And Kyle, as we take a look back at the second takedown, this quick shot from Wagner has the hands up top, able to drop it with the left hand, go for the left leg, catch McCormick and bring him down to the mat for 2.
You mentioned McCormick being hungry, not just in this season, but I think for the career. In his final season in college, has been a 2-time NCAA qualifier, but here's your last go.
You know that the career does not last to next season, and whatever memories you'll take away, whatever accomplishments from this last season, this is it.
McCormick also a 2-time All-Academy team for the ACC, and that's something that Virginia and their coach especially really hang their hat on, and we'll get a little deeper into just how good they have been both academically and on the mat. Looking to work for his first takedown points of the match. There's another quick shot from Wagner. McCormick read it this time though, and they'll get a restart in the neutral position.
Well done by McCormick right there to work the way out of bounds and return the match to neutral. Another quick shot of the legs. There's 2.
Wagner on the season 16-5, 7-2 in duels for the Tar Heels. Although he did not wrestle against Duke last week in their first duel of the conference season this year.
Major decision victor against Brown back on the 14th of January. 16-5 score to improve his record to 16-5.
Has a toe trying to work for another takedown. There it is. Stalemate and a restart. Wagner really seems like he's just able to get in and get the legs of McCormick at will.
Well, it's the ability, Kyle, of him to strike so quickly, to go from neutral and be able to get a look. The quick shots, McCormick has no answer for it defensively.
Riding time, Matt mentioned before, you see in the green up to 1 minute and 40 seconds. You know you're in the zone as a wrestler. I saw him look back at the clock and it says 26 seconds, and it's almost like he questioned the ref. There's only 26 seconds left. Gonna get a caution. That'll go against McCormick. 2 cautions. Other point goes to your opponent. Good start there and a good takedown back to the mat for Wagner to keep control. Talk about the riding points that you gain when you're on top, but there's also more to it, things that you can take down the line in terms of tiring your opponent out.
Yeah, it is really hard to work from bottom. Steve Garland said that that's something Virginia's got to do better in this duel tonight against the Tar Heels. And as Steve said, the irony in it all is that he himself was very good on bottom in his career as a wrestler at 125 at Virginia, but his current team, that's an area of growth that he'd be looking for throughout the duel tonight.
Him being good from the bottom, one of the reasons that he was an ACC champion and got all the way to the title for an NCAA. Wagner going to release here for the escape point. He's looking for a bonus point win here.
That'll make it 5. There is the riding time point that is a factor. But Wagner would need one more takedown here to feel comfortable about it.
17 victories as a freshman for the Hawkeyes.
Second of 10 duels, bouts in this duel tonight. The first one went to the Tar Heels at the heavyweight division. Decision. 3-0 lead. Carolina looking for more. Wagner in on a takedown. 2 points there. There's also a stall warning to McCormick. So the way it stands now, a 7-point lead on the board, and the riding time is secured as well. So an 8-point lead right now for Wagner.
Here's the most recent takedown for Wagner. Had McCormick low and is able to drop below shoulder height. Quickly grab those legs
You mentioned it earlier, that speed to be able to change where you are up and down, the elevation, and completely fooled McCormick there. Caution on the restart to McCormick. Again, Wagner releases.
So now that means the margin would be 7, and Wagner needs to score again to get into bonus point territory.
Wagner almost caught him in a spot where you can go for the pin. McCormick just able to escape it, but Wagner in like a bulldog, takes him down. 2 more on the board.
Bonus point as well.
Be interesting to see if he releases him or if from here you try to work for those near fall points or possible pin.
He's got less than 30 seconds. Trying to wrap up major decision number 6 on the season. Riding time long secured, so he will add a point once the match clock reaches 0.
One thing you got to be careful though, if you're Wagner, you can give it an escape, but you don't want the reversal. It's that line of being aggressive, but not overly aggressive, and he doesn't cross it and gets a big win for the Tar Heels. A bonus point win, major decision. 4 on the board for the Tar Heels after Wagner, 19th in the country, has 6 takedowns in this match. 2 in each of the 3 periods. Tack on that riding time as well.
Well, Jack Wagner able to use his speed to control Patrick McCormick. Bonus points for the Tar Heels.
This past December, Sarah received a Lifetime Service to Wrestling Award by the North Carolina chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame and Museum. This award recognizes those who have invested their time to the sport of wrestling and left a lasting legacy. Starting in 1995, Sarah spent her time in many roles, including contributor and editor of NCMat.com, national team director and board of directors member for North Carolina USA Wrestling, and tournament director of numerous high school tournaments in the Raleigh-Durham area. Sarah was also co-founder of the Super 32 Challenge, which has since become the largest preseason high school and youth event in the country. Since 2010, Sarah has been the administrative assistant for multiple Olympic sports, including wrestling, where she provides support to the staff and team. Helping present Sarah tonight are previous recipients of this award, Jamil Kelly and Bobby Schreiner. Jamil was honored with this award from the California chapter in 2021, and Bobby was awarded this recognition in 2010 from the North Carolina chapter. Sarah has dedicated her life to the sport, and we'd like to recognize and thank her for all she does for Carolina wrestling, the university, and the sport. Congratulations and thank you to Sarah Kelly. Please don't forget to take a look at the concession stand on the countertops for a ice cold beverage or a hot treat. We also remind you to join us back here at Carmichael Arena on Friday on the 10th of February, 7 o'clock start, and the Tar Heels will host the 6th-ranked Virginia Tech Hokies. For updates, you can follow the team on Twitter and Instagram at UNC Wrestling. That's at UNC Wrestling on Twitter and Instagram, or online at GoHeels.com.
alongside Matt Krause, I'm Kyle Straub. Thank you for joining us here on a Friday night. Take a look at something we mentioned before, but not just on the mat, but it's off the mat success that Virginia, and especially their coach Steve Garland, really has emphasized.
Steve Garland is so proud of the fact that he's produced plenty of NCAA qualifiers on the mat, but it's the ability of this program to give students the opportunity to pursue master's degrees, and Virginia is routinely among the academic leaders in the ACC, all up and down their lineup.
Couple of bouts under our belts. Carolina got the win in both of them. We started at heavyweight. It was Gutridge, the redshirt freshman, picking up the decision, 3-0 Carolina, and then Wagner with the major decision, bonus point win, puts us at 7-0 Tar Heels. And at 1:33, Jace Palmer taking on Kevon Roller. A couple of freshmen, a couple of young guys out there, although Palmer a redshirt freshman. Roller a true freshman, though.
And this is the first ever dual appearance for Kevon Roller. Marlon Yarbrough made the start at 1:33 last week for Virginia. Steve Garland told us that Yarbrough, despite his success and his good appearance against Pitt last week, was day-to-day coming into the duel this week, so Roller gets the opportunity. Some good action in the first period in this bout at 1:33.
Because of the bonus point win, already finding themselves down 7-0. I don't want to say it's a must win, but it's a you need to have match here for Virginia. Palmer does a good job of getting back to 1 foot. Going to get out of that circle now.
Trying to scramble away. You see Roller reaching, trying to drag him back toward the center of the mat. Take an attempt at the right leg and secure the first takedown.
Because he went all the way off the mat and hit the hardwood, they're going to restart here. Normally, both wrestlers go out of the circle for a restart. Roller, the true freshman out of Knoxville, Tennessee, won back-to-back state championships as a junior and a senior, but as a sophomore, he was right there, lost in the final, but a 3-time finalist in his high school career.
Definitely a bright future for Roller, whose last action came at the Southern Scuffle on New Year's Day, lost a couple of matches there. Makes an attempt at the left leg.
Palmer on the other side out of Casper, Wyoming, went 5-6 last year as a true freshman for the Tar Heels, wrestling unattached. Roller in on another single leg.
It's now 3 single leg attempts for Roller, but give Palmer a lot of credit because Roller's been unable to grab that other leg on each of these attempts. Palmer definitely has been on the defensive this entire first period, but now he's less than 30 seconds away from ending the period scoreless.
Something Carolina, the coaching staff, told us they're working on is getting better every week. Everybody is going to do that, right? But Coleman said specifically on the defensive side of things, want to make sure that we're not leaving ourselves open, and I think Palmer has done a pretty good job of being good on the defensive when needing to be. See if Roller, the true freshman for Virginia, can find a way to break through that defense and get to the double leg versus the single. First match we've had where we don't have a score after the first. So Palmer is going to pick to be in the bottom position here to start the second.
Yeah, Kyle, even though heavyweight and 125 are total opposites in terms of style and where they rank among the weight classes, but both of those bouts played out pretty similarly in that the Tar Heel wrestler was more aggressive from the get-go and secured the early lead with first period takedowns and then rode it to victory. But here, the first point comes from an escape by Palmer coming off bottom in the second period.
On the season, 5-6 for Palmer of the Tar Heels. 2 of those 5 wins have been major decision victories.
7-6 decision. Logan Egan of Duke last time out.
And on a double shot. Seems like both wrestlers, Matt, are just on the edge of being able to get in, get control, and get a takedown, but can't quite make it all the way.
In the case of Roller, it's been trying for the single leg and work his way from there, and there is two for Jace Palmer.
Instead of the straight stand-up, it comes out of the scramble. Now let's see how the freshman Roller can do working from the bottom, something that you mentioned Virginia needs to be better at. Palmer trying to inch his way up the back of Roller, but also looks like he's trying to make sure he keeps those legs under control, has a good grip on the right arm of Roller.
Here he does not want to become the victim. Roller trying to bounce out from underneath him, doing a reversal. Also, as this period winds down, Palmer, as you see on the screen there, he's racking up the riding time.
Remember, he started this round in the bottom position. Roller will be in the bottom as we start the third, but after a scoreless first, it's 3 points for Palmer.
First takedown of the bout. As you said, Kyle, it comes off the scramble. Able to get control of both of those legs, earn the 2 points.
Chose the neutral to start this third. Just 2 seconds shy for Palmer of that extra point for riding time. You see there 58 seconds that he was able to accumulate in the second. And on a shot back from Roller, both of them escape.
This third period coming out of neutral, Palmer's been taking shots at Roller's head and engage him in some hand fighting. Not a lot of leg action so far in this 50 seconds of the third period.
You never know exactly how a career is going to go for wrestlers, whether they move up, stay where they are, move down in a weight class like we saw from Palmer, or excuse me, from Wagner. But these two are going to be going at it for a number of years to come if they are in the same weight class like they are now. This is going to be a good battle to watch them grow.
Really competitive bout here tonight. Certainly look forward to watching these two for years to come in the ACC. You're right, Kyle. As they stay in the same weight class, there's going to be a lot of matchups through the regular season and ACC championships. There's 2 more for Jace Palmer.
Really nice, consistent work to get that takedown, and now he's got himself a 5-point lead, and he's got the riding time as well. Finally, Roller able to get on the board with an escape point. Not a lot of time left for Roller. Got to take some risks here.
Riding time secure. Another point for Palmer.
Looks like he is going to hold on to this one and make it 3 in a row to start this duel for the Tar Heels. 6-1 win for Palmer. And it's a 10-0 lead for the Tar Heels.
Well, a nice performance for Jace Palmer. Bout started slowly, but 1 takedown each in the second and third period. And now this Virginia team having to dig out from a 10-0 hole. And Kyle, as you see this roster breakdown, it is both a young and an experienced team. Where there's not a lot is in the middle.
Kind of an oxymoron. We're a young, experienced team, but you're 100% right. And I think when you're a coach, you look at that roster and you see, hey, we got this many seniors coming up. That means we got to bring in this many freshmen to be able to replace. Part of the reason that you see players, wrestlers out there, like we saw Roller, getting some experience in ACC duels to pay off down the road.
A lot of those fifth years also because Virginia's utilized the transfer portal. We just talked about all the master's degrees that this program has produced recently.
So move on to 141-pound weight class. They're really quickly getting into things here. Lachlan McNeil for the Tar Heels, ranked 13th in the country, and somebody that Coleman Scott is really high on.
Yes, Coleman, here's some perhaps underrated guys on your team. Here's Dylan Cedeno on his back. There's going to be near fall points coming, if not more.
Got the full 4. Got him in a cradle. McNeil wasting no time. This would be huge if the Tar Heels pick up a pinfall win. That's 6 more points to add to their already 10-0 lead. 4th bout of the night.
3 pins already for McNeil this season. Then Freddie Junko of BMI, also wrestlers from Franklin, Marshall, and Penn.
Cedeno really trying his best to keep his back off the mat, but having that leg rolled up and controlled, McNeil really has the ability to do what he wants here.
He's a little bit vulnerable if Cedeno's able to roll him over here. He's leaving that back exposed.
For more near fall points. Looks like he's got 4 more sitting there on the board waiting. And for the pin. Needs to get both those shoulder blades down. Carolina bench up on their feet, jumping around, calling for it, and there it is. Pinfall win for Lachlan McNeil, and a huge 6-point addition for the Tar Heels.
Well, Lachlan McNeil took control early. It felt like a matter of when, not if, he was going to be able to earn his 4th pin of the season. Has the grasp of Cedeno. One leg to the right ankle, flips him over, and pins him. All Tar Heels through the first 4 bouts tonight.
Wow. Mia, can you send me that?
Sure.
Mia, can you send me that?
Mia, can you send me that?
Hey, can you send me that?
Sure.
Woo! It's incredible.
Give your business an advantage right now with nationwide 5G from T-Mobile for Business. Unlock new insights and efficiency with leading ultra-capacity 5G coverage. T-Mobile for Business has 5G that's ready right now.
149 pounds is where we're at, but a couple of years ago, Zach Sherman at 141 picked up the win in the ACC tournament final, and it happened to be against his opponent that he's going to take on here, Gerard Verclaren.
3-1 victory for Sherman. 1 takedown does the trick. And now the rematch. Number 28, Jared Verclaren against number 25, Zach Sherman, with Brian Courtney unavailable at 141 for Virginia tonight. This is one of just 2 bouts matching 2 ranked wrestlers this evening, Kyle.
We talked about it a couple of matches ago, Palmer versus Roller, a couple of young guys, and in the future they have this match to look back on and measure where they're from. It's the case here, a little bit of a rivalry we can say, as they have moved up a weight class together, get to wrestle each other. Obviously the stakes not quite as high as an ACC championship like last year.
But still, as we said right off the top of our broadcast tonight, a measuring stick opportunity. These are the wrestlers that will compete against each other for ACC championships come early March. It's not that far away. And I'm especially interested to see what trend keeps up. Is it the low-scoring nature of the last meeting between Verclaren and Sherman, or is it the high-scoring nature of Carolina tonight?
Talked about how Carolina has not had a single dual roster be the same this entire year. A lot of different injuries, guys in and out of the lineup, positional battles. Well, Sherman, a 5th-year senior, wrestling in just his 3rd duel this season. He missed a lot of time early in the year, finally able to get on the mat. So far this year, 4-2, 2-2 in the duels.
Major decision victory against Patrick Rowland of Duke his last time out, 12-1. Made his return to action for the Tar Heels. The Franklin and Marshall Open January 6th, and that's an event that Coleman Scott talked a whole lot about, Kyle, as a real turning point this season for Carolina. Coming off of a slow November and December, especially by recent standards, being able to go to that Franklin and Marshall Open to begin competition after the new year. Got the opportunity for several wrestlers to compete in up to 6 matches and really regain some confidence before the January duels.
Carolina had 3 winners, McNeil, O'Connor, and Kane. Wagner and Scott second, and Moore came in 3rd there. So not just able to wrestle a lot, but also see themselves have some success, which you alluded to at the beginning of this year. Coleman Scott absolutely loaded the Carolina schedule. And when you ask him about it, he says, listen, the dual record doesn't matter that much. Yeah, you want to win them, but ultimately you want to be on the same level as these top teams in the country. So let's go wrestle them and see where we are.
Yeah, from the start of the season to the holiday break, 3 of your opponents in duels include Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. You are challenging yourself, that's for sure.
They did have a really cool setting in that Michigan duel. This mat was actually out behind home plate on the baseball field, Boshemer Stadium, on a, we'll call it a cool evening, but they were in the sun. He said as long as you were on the mat and moving, it was fine.
There's a volleyball match here at Carmichael Arena, so the need to get creative schedule-wise, and that came just 2 days after the Tar Heels were able to wrestle Campbell in their first duel of the year at Fort Bragg on Veterans Day. So 2 really unique settings for wrestling in that first weekend of dual competition back in November.
For Clearin in his 2nd year with Virginia, actually started his career with Penn State, NCAA qualifier at 149. That was back in 2020, so he never actually got to wrestle with COVID canceling the NCAA championships that year.
Blood stoppage with 16 seconds left in this first period. For Clearin, did not wrestle for Virginia between the 7th of January and their duel against Pitt to open up ACC play. Earned one of the 2 victories for Clearin did for Virginia last week against Pitt. Decision over number 29 Tyler Badgett. 25-6 victory for the Panthers in the first duel of ACC competition for Virginia. Now finding themselves down 16-0. And Steve Garland, who you see there in the plaid shirt left side of your screen, he said, you know, a wrestling season, it's got its peaks, it's got its valleys. Right now we are in a valley, and he's got to find a way to lead his guys out of it.
You know, it's where wrestling is a very unique sport in that we're sitting here in the top right corner and you see the team score, but it's a very individual sport when you're out on the mat competing for your own self, getting team points, but also trying to get yourself to a point where you can make the NCAA tournament. Once you get there, all bets are off. Really easy to see just from last year for Carolina. Keyshawn Clark, the lowest seeded wrestler ever to make it to the national championship, came up just short there against the 1 seed at 141.
How about getting hot at the right time? Not a lot of action in that first period. This ranked on ranked matchup.
149, probably the hardest weight class to be in if you're in the ACC, because there's all the ACC teams that are represented and everybody is in the top 30.
Yeah, and Zach Sherman for Carolina, you know, we talk about the measuring stick aspect of this duel. His next 3 bouts, the next 3 weeks, all guys on that graphic right there.
I mean, at least it gets a little bit easier. You go from 26 to 29 at one point. Clearin trying to use that weight to get Sherman down for the first points of this match.
Meanwhile, Sherman starting on bottom, trying to work his way out for a potential first point via the escape. A stalemate call. talking to Steve Garland about his team being in a so-called valley right now. He said that coming home after the duel is there is the escape point for Sherman. Coming home last week after falling to Pitt, he was a little bit nervous because he said usually when he walks in his front door after the Cavaliers lose a duel, his oldest daughter will be right there, ready to critique everything that went wrong. That's not a great feeling when you only win 2 bouts. But he told us
it's a long
story
conversation with his daughter.
Oh, yeah. He told us the story with a smile, though, so it's all good.
Kind of reminds me of Remember the Titans. Coach's little daughter trying to go over the film with him. 16-0 Carolina lead here on Friday night duels. Started at heavyweight, 3-0 win for Guttridge. Wagner followed it up with a bonus point win, make it 7-0 Tar Heels after 125. Then Palmer with a decision. McNeil with the quick pin. Here is our midway point with the 5th match of the night. Still just the 1 point. It came on an escape, and this match starting to really look like what we showed you at the beginning, which was a replay of last year's ACC tournament.
The 3-1 victory for Sherman. Kyle, I wondered a couple minutes ago, would it be the high-scoring, quick strike nature of this duel that's allowed Carolina to race out to the 16-0 lead with 2 bonus point victories, or would it be the low-scoring, grinded-out kind of bout that we saw between Vercleren and Sherman a year ago? And I think the question's been answered. It's definitely the latter.
Quick little break for some more blood on Sherman. And, you know, to be honest, having him being down in that second, having to work to get the escape point, another 15, 20 seconds to be able to catch your breath, not the worst thing for a wrestler. Cavaliers desperately trying to get on the board in this duel. And just the decision wins for the Tar Heels haven't been that close. As both wrestlers go out of the circle, 15 seconds into the 3rd round here.
Aiden Guttridge was in bonus point territory, trying to close in on a major decision late, unable to do so. And the Jace Palmer Avon roller bout at 133, that ended 6-1.
Sherman in on a single leg. Bowls him over and gets control for the 2 points. An escape from Vercleren and a takedown, a 3-1 lead for the Tar Heel Sherman.
That's the exact score that we saw in the ACC Championship last year.
Clearing to his feet, able to spin out and get the escape point. 3-2 in favor of Sherman. Riding time not going to be a factor in this one. Just 1 second on the clock in favor of Vercleren. Comes down to the final minute of this match. Shot from Sherman, stuffed by Vercleren. Looks to snap and
Vercleren defending well. You can see Sherman trying to work him up top to go low with a strike like that.
double leg, but good strength from Vercleren. Doesn't hear the whistle as he takes Sherman down, and you can see he's in some pain as he went down on that left shoulder.
Time for injury.
Take another look at this one. As soon as Vercleren got the escape point, referees blew the whistle. There's the takedown, though, from Sherman.
Now an opportunity for both wrestlers to catch their breath. 34 seconds to decide this one at 149.
Vercleren will be in the down position. Caution against Sherman. Both the points for Vercleren have come on the escape, and he's going to get a third that way. Under 30 to go. You feel like next takedown gets the win. Sherman looking for the double leg, easily read and stuffed by Vercleren. And on a single leg, Vercleren uses the strength to get around. 2 points on the takedown, and a whistle coming in again. Sherman back down on that left shoulder.
And he is in obvious pain. Let's take a look back here at Vercleren going on top. Sherman, like you said, Kyle, trying the double leg that left him vulnerable.
Before he even got around to get the takedown, you could see Sherman in pain on the ground. Came on the takedown after the whistle. I don't know if Sherman had heard the whistle and gave up, or if they just wrestled, and when he came down, it drove that shoulder into the ground. Just 8 seconds to go in this match. Sherman, a guy who's already missed a lot of time due to injury at the beginning of this year. Some sportsmanship shown here from Vercleren. Sherman clearly not 100% or even close to it physically. And his opponent allowing him to at least finish out the bout. He does pick up the win. It's 6-4 in favor of Vercleren, and Virginia gets on the board for the first time.
Well, Virginia able to get on the board, and Vercleren gets some revenge from the ACC Championship last year.
At Metro, you can save even more than before. Get a free Samsung Galaxy 5G with 50-megapixel quad camera. And with a phone like that, you can share even more family moments. Only at Metro.
Wow. Mia, can you send me that?
Sure.
Mia, can you send me that?
Mia, can you send me that?
Hey, can you send me that? Sure.
It's incredible.
Alongside Matt Krause, I'm Kyle Straub. Halfway through our evening here in Carmichael and Carolina with a 16-3 win, thanks to a bonus point win for Wagner and that quick pin from McNeil.
Jared Vercleren of Virginia celebrating the Cavaliers' first win of the night. Aiden Guttridge set the tone for North Carolina with the victory at heavyweight. Guttridge just gets to rest the rest of the night. It's the best feeling ever.
Right, start things off, get the win, energize everybody, and then kick your feet back and relax. We move on to 157 pounds, and if you're a Tar Heel fan, heck, if you're a wrestling fan, that man is the one that you came to see today. Austin O'Connor, national champion at 141 2 years ago, an All-American at 149 last year, and on a tear this season at 149 again. Jake Keating, the wrestler for Virginia, grad student out of Naperville, Illinois, coming off of his best individual season, was actually the runner-up at the ACC tournament last year at 49, two-time NCAA qualifier.
Two wrestlers that arrive at this bout on very different trajectories. O'Connor with 10 straight bonus point victories, Keating 3 straight losses.
O'Connor last year had to med drop as he gets the takedown there. had to med drop out of the NCAA tournament, and you look back at it now and you think he probably shouldn't have wrestled at all, but just to show you how good he was able to become an All-American even basically on 1.5 legs.
Tremendous show by Austin O'Connor to fight through that pain, be able to become an All-American. Now you know he's got his sights set on hanging a second banner at Carmichael Arena.
Just one wrestler has had more than one championship in Carolina's history wrestling. Only 4 have ever won it, including O'Connor, but TJ Jaworski, the 3-time NCAA champion, leader in the clubhouse.
There's a new banner up there.
Here's a look at that takedown from O'Connor that gave him the 2-point lead. Mentioned 10 straight bonus point wins for O'Connor. He's only wrestled 12 times this year. First 2 coming back from injury. Understandable you don't get the bonus point wins, but really has dominated his opponents since then. And Coleman said, you know, you have to go out there and wrestle, and it doesn't matter who's on the other side. Be relentless. He really takes that to heart.
That's resulted in back-to-back wins by pin. Both of his last 2 matches have not made it out of the second period. In Preston Decker of Duke in 232 last week.
Back down to the mat. For the career, O'Connor 108-13. Still just the 2-point lead, but really piling on that riding time.
Escape point for Keating.
Quickly in on a single leg. Make it 2 on the takedown for O'Connor. 4-1 lead.
Regaining that control so quickly after allowing Keating to escape.
That's where that relentlessness that we talked about comes from, but he's also a really good technical wrestler as well. I guess you have to have all facets if you're going to put an NCAA championship on your resume. First round comes to an end. 4-1 lead for O'Connor. Take a look at his season so far this year. Missed the first 1.5 months of the year, but really has just been on a different level since returning from injury.
I'd say those numbers are pretty good. And yet Coleman Scott says perhaps he's underrated on a national level.
Which is, it's in my mind, wild to say, but you also think about it. What's 2 years removed from your NCAA championship? You're up a weight class. You can see how guys might overlook somebody, and maybe it puts a chip on his shoulder.
And based on everything that we've said, Austin O'Connor is a guy you do not want to have a chip on his shoulder.
Gets the point for the escape there, but you saw as he came up, had the right leg. Not just looking for 1 point, looking for 2 on a reversal. It's a 4-point lead for him here. Looking for more, make it 2. 7-1 now. Also got 2 minutes and counting of riding time.
Still need to score again to get into major decision territory. But now Keating's got to be careful here. So you see O'Connor, he's trying to roll him over that left shoulder.
I think Keating's done a pretty good job of showing some strength, showing some technical abilities on the bottom to not give up a position, get in a bad position, and allow near fall points. Using a little bit of his size advantage there. You look back on the career for Keating, and started his career at 149, but moved up to 157 pretty quickly. Has wrestled as high as 165, so has the size advantage over most guys at 157, but leverage will beat size every time as O'Connor gets him back to the mat.
But again, Keating did well there once he was pushed down to the mat to not roll over on the shoulder. He's content to let O'Connor ride him out here for the remaining 20 seconds or so of this period.
7-point lead on the board. Minute of riding time is secure as well. So currently an 8-point lead for O'Connor. Take that 8-point lead into the third and final round. We showed you how tough it is at 149. 157 isn't that much easier. 2 ACC wrestlers there in the top 5.
Yeah, Bryce Andonian, number 5. Peyton Robb of Nebraska is who O'Connor is chasing.
O'Connor releases for the escape point, immediately in on a single leg. 2 points on the takedown as he gets control. Another escape point on the release. 7-point lead on the board, 1 on the riding time, 8 total for O'Connor. Quick shot. 2 more. I think at this point you see O'Connor realizing that not getting very far while on the ground, release, get the takedown.
He's been able to do that this entire bout, Kyle, because he lets Keating go, surrenders the point, and then goes with the 2 is greater than 1 approach. Gets a takedown within 10 seconds.
There it is again. Scrambles around to the back, control, 2 more. Looking at an 11-point lead with the riding time. You get to 15, it's a tech fall. 5 points for your team. Keating able to squash that first shot, but relentless. Around for another takedown is O'Connor. Both wrestlers out of the circle will get a restart. I believe they're going to give the escape point. Nope, he's going to say he was still down and had not gotten it.
Well, now they'll go over.
I think they're fixing the clock. Reset to 28 seconds. Two more for O'Connor. Escape point. Keating looking for a takedown. O'Connor works his way to his waist, gets 2 more. Sideline screaming to O'Connor, keep him down for the final 10. He didn't hear it, and he loses that 15-point tech fall win. Instead, just a major decision win at 14. Still 4 points added to the Tar Heel total. It's 20-3 Carolina.
22 points, the highest scoring bout for O'Connor this season, surpassing the 21 that he recorded in the Franklin Marshall Open back on January the 6th. Austin O'Connor putting on an absolute clinic in the 157-pound bout tonight. Got control of Jake Keating from the get-go. You gotta give Keating credit, not surrendering any near-fall points throughout the duration of that match. But O'Connor, it seemed like he would let Keating go, only to score 2 within 10 to 15 seconds. Total domination from the All-American Austin O'Connor tonight. Coleman Scott, I imagine, has to love seeing that.
When you're getting upset because you didn't get the tech fall win and you get the major decision win, and that's really the only thing you've been upset about so far, you're having a good night, whether it's a wrestler or a coach. On to 165-pound weight class for the Tar Heels. Joey Mazzara is out there. Guy who Coleman Scott told us, he is really having a good season this year. The redshirt senior out of Las Vegas. On the year, 10-2, 2-0 in duels. This is a guy who didn't wrestle last year because of an injury, and even missed part of the beginning of this season.
Mazzara, major decision winner each of his last 2 appearances against Duke and Brown. 12-2 and 13-2 respectively. The first 2 points going to McCoy here.
McCoy the favorite in this one, just based off of the rankings, 17th in the Intermat rankings, where Mazzara currently not ranked, but I think a guy who, if you're in the NCAA tournament, probably not going to want to see him as a high-ranking
Definitely
opponent.
Not. McCoy ranked number 17 for a reason. Among his 12 victories this year, Kyle, 8 have been bonus point wins, 5 major decisions. He's got 1 tech fall and a couple of pins.
ACC runner-up each of the last 2 years. He's been an NCAA qualifier 3 straight years. New Paris, Pennsylvania. Zara with the escape gets the point. 2-1 in favor of McCoy. A little over halfway through this first round. Just a reminder, we started our evening at heavyweight, so just 3 more bouts to go after this one. Dominating lead for the Tar Heels, 20-3 right now. Pinfall, a couple of major decisions for Carolina. 1 win on the books for Virginia. Came back at 149. They're clearing, picking up the 6-4 victory over Sherman. McCoy able to trip up Mazzara and get the takedown. 4-1 lead for the Who Wrestling. Second dual meet in the conference for both of these teams after last weekend was the opening weekend for ACC Wrestling. Carolina in dominating fashion, picking up the win over Duke. Virginia on the other end of a dominating performance. That was Pitt picking up the win over the Cavaliers.
25-6, Virginia won just 2 bouts against the Panthers.
Caution on the quick start there by Mazzara.
McCoy, one of the 8 Virginia wrestlers to come up on the short end of the stick last week, fell to Holden Heller of the Panthers 9-3.
A good job here by McCoy, controlling that left leg of Mazzara, making it tough for him to get up. Although he does scramble there, nearly able to get to his feet. Clock runs out on him though. And it's a 4-1 lead for McCoy after a couple of takedowns.
Impressive first period for Justin McCoy. He knows he's the favorite in this match. Came out, took control, and like you said, Kyle, made it really difficult for Mazzara to try and scramble out of it.
Starting in the down position here in the second. You say Justin McCoy, and my mind immediately jumps to Justin McCoy in a Tar Heel uniform. There's a connection there with Virginia, McCoy, and Carolina.
It's spelled differently, though. Justin McCoy, the basketball player who began his career in Charlottesville, transferred to Chapel Hill. That's M-C-K-O-Y. This Justin McCoy, as you see, has 2 C's. I wonder if they were ever confused during their time together on grounds in Charlottesville.
I mean, you don't have the, this is my spelling above your head, so if somebody says it, you just, that's me you're talking about, right?
Yeah. You know, Justin McCoy, the wrestler, somehow gets an email about basketball plays or something.
Mazzara issued a stall warning. Well, there was the guy who got a different golfer's invitation to the Masters.
I did
recently.
see this, yes.
That was very nice of him to give it to the actual person. Myself, I would have showed up. Like, hey, here's my invitation.
Right.
I get to go play at Augusta. Mazzara being denied to get to his feet. Really good job by McCoy riding this out. You see the riding time over 2 minutes with still 40 to go here in the second round.
Boy, well on his way to securing the riding time point, but would still have more work to do in the third period and waning stages of this second if he wants a bonus point victory.
Finally, Mazzara able to get that escape. Second point of the match for him. Just 2.5 minutes of riding time for McCoy on the board. McCoy looking for a single leg. Zara crawling his way in. He gets the takedown. Just before the buzzer this time. The buzzer stopped him from getting the escape earlier. He gets the takedown this time.
Grabbed control of the left leg on the single leg shot.
I think there was an incidental horn, actually. Thought maybe the clock had gotten frozen, but they're going to restart at 28.
Let's go, Joe!
Nope.
No.
Correction. There was an error because they hadn't fixed the clock. So
Exactly.
to the third round we go. Sometimes, just like the watchers, we're at the mercy of the table. Don't always know exactly what's going on.
Technology, it'll fool you.
Quick escape from McCoy to take the lead back. Remember, he's got all that riding time. 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Looks for a shot. Zara able to avoid it, but cannot get a reshot in himself.
Riding time point now secure for McCoy, so it's essentially a 6-4 advantage. Means Mazzara's got to be on the offensive here down the stretch.
Gets the left leg. McCoy jumps around. Both wrestlers wrapping up those legs. Can anybody get a move, make a move in order to get the takedown? You know, McCoy at this point is fine just battling back and forth. A stalemate called by the referee. Second close bout that we have had. The other one came at 141 with Clearin and Sherman. It's the only match that Virginia has come away with a victory in.
It's either been a convincing Carolina win or a narrow Virginia win. This one trending toward a Cavalier triumph.
Zara completely off the mat. Restart with 29 on the clock. Couple of fifth-year seniors battling it out. Zara in on another single leg. They'll look to get control. Not much time left, though. McCoy with a great job of wrapping up the ankles and just trying to hold on for dear life. Whistle from the referee. Nothing was called. Mazzara wants a challenge block thrown. Coleman Scott will abide. Both wrestlers back to their respective sides as the referees will go take a look at this one. If they give him the takedown, we will go to a sudden death. First point wins. If not, it's a 6-4 win for McCoy.
As you see,
The only reaction time. That's all it is.
let's see here.
Is when they roll to the back there, they
Yeah.
want some points for near fall and control,
It
whether it's
looked like,
takedown or near fall.
it seemed that he had control over the right leg there.
All 3 rounds literally coming down to the buzzer. I will remind you at home that the views, the angles that the referees have are not what we have here on our monitors and what you're seeing. The call on the mat was no point, so they have to have some indisputable evidence in order to overturn it. At least that's what the record book or the rule book reads. Make the decision for yourself. Take a look at this one more time. Mazzara in the middle of the mat. He's got his ankle band on, his headgear back, ready to go. What's your call here, Matt?
Right there. See, it's that right hand. I think he's got control right there.
think I agree with you.
And the right hand was on the other side of the body from the official that's on the right side of your screen right there.
Typically, if this is overturned and they give him the takedown, you get to that overtime, both wrestlers are gassed. It's all about just who has that extra will. Got a lot of rest, and it's not going to go to overtime. They didn't see enough to overturn it. McCoy able to hold on for the win. Second of the night for the Cavaliers. It's a 6-4 decision, and it moves the overall team score to 21-6 in favor of the Tar Heels. It's been a dominating night for Carolina, but we're not over yet.
Wow. Mia, 괜찮습니다.
Sure.
Mia, can you film me that?
Mia, can you send me that?
Hey, can you send me that?
Sure.
Couple of Tar Heels who have picked up wins and have helped them to a healthy 21-6 lead here over the Virginia Cavaliers alongside Matt Krause. Kyle Straub, thank you for joining us here on ACC Friday Night Duels. Just 4 bouts left to go, but really it's the measuring stick we talked about. And for Coleman Scott and Carolina, that measuring stick really started to change, and the results started to come around after the new year flipped.
Well, among those 5 losses before the new year, the 3 Big Ten teams, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. But Coleman Scott says it all began with the Franklin Marshall Open on January the 6th, the opportunity to go to Pennsylvania and be able to get many of their starters 4 or 5, if not more, matches, get their feet under them, gain some confidence, and earn those 3 individual titles. That was a major turning point as Michael Goldfeder comes out firing with a quick 2.
Out was who we thought we were going to see. Goldfeder, though, out here wrestling against Marcelli for Virginia.
Goldfeder's competed primarily at 165 this year, so he is up a weight class. 6-4 on the year. His last action, a loss at 165 on January 14th against Harvard.
So the Virginia trainer actually trumping the referee here and saying because Marcelli got knocked in the head, he needs to take him to the back. I don't know if it is going to be a med drop or if they're just going to go back and do concussion protocol. But either way, the med staff for Virginia pulling the wrestler off the mat here, and they go to the back.
Safety first, obviously. All of the time that goes into preparing for a match like this one. The emotion, and you know, Marcelli's going to want to try and keep going, but ultimately the medical staff has the final say.
And it looked like Marcelli was ready to go. He was back down on all fours, ready to go and continue the match on. Currently a 2-0 lead, though, because Goldfeder literally came out of the blocks and hit him right in the head.
Very quick start for Goldfeder.
That right there, you saw the head kind of jostle of Marcelli. I think it was more in the jaw area than the head, but either way, just going to make sure.
Immediately grabbed at the jaw. It was a whiplash effect. Michael Goldfeder's grabbed the jacket to stay warm.
Redshirt senior out of Sherman Oaks, California. Just 1-6 back in 18-19 as a true freshman. Back then wrestled at the 157-pound weight class. between 149 and 157 the following year. 2020, 2021, he didn't compete at all though, redshirted. And last year started to see some of that work pay off, a 4-4 season, 21-22. This is his first action this season.
Kyle, it certainly looks like the Tar Heels are on their way to a dual victory here tonight to go to 2-0 in ACC competition. But they've got the top portion of the conference forthcoming.
We've shown you throughout the evening at different weight classes how many wrestlers are ranked in those different weight classes. Well, when that's the case, you have pretty good teams, you would assume. And there's the slate left for the Tar Heels, who are ranked 26th themselves. But to end the year with a couple of top 10 teams, and one of them being the Wolfpack, who is your rival, that's a heck of a gauntlet to end the year that they had to begin the year, too.
It'll be 2 of those 3 on Friday Night Duels on ACC Network next week against Pitt, and that NC State duel on February the 17th.
And we talk about building. Just like every sport, you want to be at your best for the postseason. And for Coleman Scott to have that kind of a schedule, that kind of competition, you almost feel like it's very next week with Pitt starting that. You're in the postseason now.
Postseason starts early February, even though in reality the schedule would tell you it doesn't start till early March. You will be ready for ACCs and what's beyond. Virginia still has the Wolfpack and the Hokies on their remaining dual schedule,
as well as Duke there February 10th, sandwiched in between American. So 2 top 10 teams sandwiched in between there. I feel like a couple of duels that you can work on some things, get some confidence, see some results for the Cavaliers.
The next 3 all at home in Memorial Gym in Charlottesville.
That is something that they have been very beneficial of this year. This is their first road ACC duel, and they only have one more, and it's the very last duel of the season.
So Kyle, we're in this stoppage because of Vic Marcelli going down hard to the mat on a shot within the first 10 seconds of this bout against Michael Goldfeder. Here's an alternate angle.
Absolutely nothing dirty on Goldfeder's part there. Head was going right to the chest. I think it was just the shock of it caught Marcelli and lowered the head just a little bit, where good solid contact was made, and medical staff wanted to pull him off, and they're checking him out back in the locker room right now. This is our 8th bout of the evening. Started at heavyweight. As we look now at some of the postseason dates, go ahead, make your travel plans, get your tickets. If you live in the area, not too far and not too hard to get to the ACC championships, but a little bit of a trip to get out to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
The NCAAs, of course, you can watch every mat across the ESPN family of networks. Austin O'Connor will be hungry to go to Tulsa.
There are only going to be 10 wrestlers who finish their season with a win. He's done it before, hoping to do it again. While we've got the time, let's take a look at a recap of how we got here. Started at heavyweight, which is kind of what set the tone for Carolina, with Guthridge getting the win, just a decision, but it was really when Wagner took the mat, got the major decision, and then McNeil separated things. It was still 10-3, or 10-0, I think at that point, actually. Put it to 16-0.
Yeah, Lachlan McNeil came out extremely aggressive against Dylan Cedeno, a wrestler that Steve Garland and his Virginia staff had really high hopes for. Cedeno wrestling in place of Brian Courtney tonight, and McNeil took charge. There's Aiden Guthridge, heavyweight, who started things off with a convincing victory against Ethan Weatherspoon.
That was his first career ACC dual victory. See O'Connor with the major decision win. It was really the only time I have seen Coleman Scott upset tonight, and it was because he couldn't get the message to O'Connell hey, or O'Connor, don't let your opponent up. He had the tech fall win,
Yeah.
gave him the escape point. So it could be 22-6, instead 21-6 though, as it stands. Still waiting on the medical injury timeout. Here comes Marcelli back out of the locker room.
Marcelli has his headgear off. And the trainer...
They're going to make him med drop, I think.
Yeah.
Something in the evaluation back in the locker room that the med staff did not like. And unfortunately, Marcelli going to have to drop out of this one. Carolina will get the win. They put 6 points on the board. 27-6 in favor of the Tar Heels. £184 next on the list. You see a bunch of wrestlers, all of them in the ACC, currently ranked, and it was the one that we highlighted at the beginning of this broadcast. 2 top 20 wrestlers going head to head.
The 2 highest ranked wrestlers competing tonight. Neil Antrassian ranked number 18 for Virginia, and here comes Gavin Kane, number 13 in the Intermat rankings this week. 11 consecutive bout victories for Kane. Antrassian has won 8 of 9. Here we go at 184. This should be fun.
Kane, just a sophomore out of Milton, Georgia. Redshirted his freshman year, went 4-1 though. And last season, 9-2 in the duels for the Tar Heels, 16-6 overall. He was a qualifier for the NCAA championships.
Kane into the night with a double-digit win streak. Made a decision last time out against Duke.
As far as Andrassian out of Temperance, Michigan, a grad student. First year with Virginia. He was at Penn prior to that, 2022 All-Ivy honorable mention. 16-11 as a senior.
Pursuing his master's in data science at the University of Virginia. Steve Garland says he was like Superman. And it took him just a little bit of time having breakfast on Antrassian's official visit to realize, quote, this kid's special. And an example that he's given about how that's played out once Antrassian joins the team, you know, they can be working in the wrestling room in practice, and it'll take Antrassian maybe 3 minutes, Steve Garland says, to learn a position. It's fascinating to the 17-year head coach how quickly his new grad transfer wrestler picks up concepts.
I imagine a coach absolutely loves having a wrestler like that, somebody you can constantly feed information to and help them to build and become better. Kane looking for the takedown, and Andrassian trying to get something himself, and it turns into 2 points for Kane. Mentioned the word a couple of times, measuring stick. For the team, for individuals, and we highlighted this not just because 2 top 20 wrestlers, obviously that's going to be a good match, but I feel like that really encompasses these 2. Somebody that you're probably going to see in the ACC tournament, might see in the NCAA tournament. Where are you right now?
And in Antrassian's case, he's a newcomer to the ACC, and his first ACC duel last week, one of the 2 wins for Virginia, knocking off Reese Heller of Pitt. The opportunity to go to 2-0 in ACC duels, you start feeling confident about yourself, and the opportunity to bring home an ACC championship come March. Scramble here from Kane, but we're level at 2.
Almost able to get away from it. Great job by Andrassian to hold on and get him on the second take. With the escape point, 3-2 lead for the Virginia wrestler.
Look at it here, has the left leg, and able to get Kane off balance. Gain control of the right leg for the 2. Now Kane will be on bottom.
We have seen a lot of aggressive wrestling from both sides. There's only been 2 matches I can remember where we didn't have scoring in the first period. a lot of time for Kane to work here as Andrasian is able to get him back down. That'll do it for the first. 3-2 lead. But Gavin Kane is who we thought we were going to get here for the Tar Heels. Defeated Andrasian earlier this year, 6-3 in a open bout. I don't know if that factored into, that was the last match. Because it was so quick, I'm thinking, wow, we're on to 84 and it's Kane.
These two wrestlers got together November the 5th at the Southeast Open. One of just 4 defeats that Andrasian's taken all year.
Another point on the escape for him. Just one bout after this left, so Carolina has secured this dual meet win. Just how they do here at 84 and then at 97. Takedown for Kane, but it's been Andrasian since 2 escapes and a takedown of his own. A little over halfway through this second. Both wrestlers trying to go for a shot there. Canceled each other out.
Working that underhook.
Kane able to get that left leg, that's the left leg. Has the waist, needs to get him down to the mat. Good roll there from Andrasian, keeps himself in a tough position though. Able to get back to his stomach. Kane gets the 2 points on the takedown and ties it up.
Steve Garland throws his challenge block here.
Whistle sounds on the second. Both wrestlers will head to their side as the referees will take a look at this. Second review we have had today. Zara doing a good job positioning the body in order to get the back.
And looked like a takedown to me.
If it wasn't before, it is there.
There's certainly not indisputable evidence that it wasn't a takedown.
No, the other review we had was in the match with Mazzara and McCoy, and we both thought Mazzara had the control, had the takedown, but the call on the mat was that it was not, and that was what was upheld. And the way it looked while they explained it to Mazzara and the Tar Heels was exactly that. There wasn't enough to overturn it, so it stands. I think that's probably what we're going to have here. Take another look while they look it over on their monitor and see if maybe we can see a little bit more on this view. Really nice attempt there, I thought, from Andrasian to roll over, continue to try and roll into his own, but Kane up to the task. Quick decision here.
After further review, the call is confirmed. 2 takedowns.
This one confirmed, saying, hey, we called it right. It was a takedown. Comes right before the end of the period.
And that's not just, there's not enough evidence to overturn it. That is, we got it correct the first time.
In a match that's extremely close. Not a bad challenger. If you can get those points off the board, your wrestler has the lead going into the final round. Instead, it's a tied bout. Just 21 seconds of riding time on the board. That is in favor of Andrasian. As he's in on a deep single leg here. Good work from Kane to get around. Good control now. Andrasian holding on to that ankle. trying to get the back. Still no points. Some yells from the Tar Heel bench. They want the 2 points for Kane.
But Andrasian still has that right ankle of Kane.
Kane has him really stretched out here.
Still nothing. Might get a stalemate call soon. There it is.
Here Coleman Scott from where we are saying, hey, it doesn't matter, let's just go. Just under a minute on the clock. Kane right back in on a shot. Andrasian trying to control him with that left leg. Able to grab the ankle temporarily. Both wrestlers still working. That quickly running out on them though. And there's 2 for Kane. Could have been very easy for a young wrestler like Kane to give up on that and get back to a neutral start, but just stuck with it. And this late in the match, it looks like it's going to be the winning points, and it is, as the top 20 matchup, our highlight matchup, goes the way of Gavin Kane. He now is 2-0 against Andrasian this season.
6-3 in November, 6-4 here in January. Gavin Kane declaring himself as an ACC contender come postseason time. One bout to go. Carolina will be victorious as a team tonight.
Wow. Mia, can you send me that?
Sure.
Mia, can you send me that?
Mia, can you send me that?
Hey, can you send me that?
Sure.
Well, I'm not 100% sold yet.
Okay, have you considered...
It's fine, Flo. She's not interested. I get it. Not everyone wants to save money.
What's she doing?
I don't know.
Renters and homeowners can bundle and save. For what? A trip to Bora Bora? Bora boring.
Okay, you know what? I'm in.
She's all yours. Want some tacos?
Nah, I'm not really in the mood.
Yeah, you're right. It's so messy. All the napkins, those different toppings.
Actually, I'm in.
Yeah, you are.
Carolina and NC State, natural rivals down the road. They kept here, they go there. They've also met in the NCAA tournaments. A couple of weeks away, it'll be on Friday night duels. It is always a great matchup. Both teams expected to be ranked still at that point in the season.
What a matchup to close out the Friday night duels slate on ACC Network. Tar Heels will appear as well next Friday against Pitt. Duke and Virginia will make a TV appearance February the 10th as well. So,
no offense to either Duke or Virginia, but I think they put them in there because you just couldn't put Carolina 3 straight weeks.
Exactly.
We showed you that schedule, top 10 matchup against NC State as well as Virginia Tech. Yeah.
Well, you know, the benefit of that is that you and I get to call that duel then.
Okay, that's a good compromise. Getting ready for our final match as Carolina has the 30-6 lead. A pinfall got them 6 points. A med drop got them 6 points. A couple of major decision wins as well. And for this last bout at 197, it is the redshirt freshman Cade Lout for the Tar Heels. And he'll be going up against the graduate student Michael Batista for Virginia. Batista, an NCAA qualifier last season at 184 pounds, up a weight class this year.
A lot of success, Kyle. 22-6, including 4 major decisions in tech ball.
For Lout, redshirted last year, gets the takedown here. first points of the match. Redshirted last year, only wrestled in one match. This season, though, much more for him in the unattached category. Skate point for Batista. Lout, the younger brother of Clay Lout, 5-2 on the year overall, 1-1 in duels. Job defensively there by Lout to avoid the takedown attempt from Batista.
Here are the calls from the corner. Stay low. Batista trying to work the head.
He joined us late. We started at heavyweight. That's why 97 is our last weight class today. Carolina, looking back on it now, starting at heavyweight, best thing that could have happened as the young freshman got the win over the veteran. It was Gutridge over Weatherspoon. Carolina just kept it rolling from there. Never in doubt, this duel.
An emphatic victory at heavyweight, as we've said a couple of times tonight. It set the tone for the Tar Heels.
Single leg shot for Batista. Lout able to muscle his way out, though. Maybe a young wrestler, but you can see the raw strength that he has, muscling his way out of a couple of takedown attempts. Takedown for Lout and escape point for Batista. As this first round comes to a close, that's the way it will be as we go to the second. 2-1 in favor of the Tar Heels.
Quick start for Lout. And not much action the rest of the way in that first period.
Lout going to start this round in the bottom position.
Batista saw his 5-match win streak come to a close last time out, but it was a very tough challenge. Nino Bonacorsi of Pitt, the best of the nation at the 197 category.
Quick escape point there for Cade Lout. Immediately in on a single leg. Good job of breaking that by Batista and keeping his balance while doing so. It's one of the more impressive things to me as you get up in the weight classes, being able to see the balance and the athleticism that they have at the size that these guys are. Another single leg here for Lout. Wide base from Batista. Restart. Lout's been able to get in on that single leg, it seems like with relative ease when he's wanted to.
Good defense there from Lout. Out of the neutral restart. Batista trying to take a shot. Lout's been doing a great job staying low. We heard Coleman Scott yelling that at him from the corner earlier on in this bout. What a confidence booster it would be for young Cade Lout to come out here and earn a win over a ranked ACC foe. But Batista's got the two.
Deep on the single leg, and it looked like Lout tried to run out of it and put himself in a bad spot. Quickly gets the escape. 4-3 in favor of Lout. So far, riding time, not a factor at all. Just 2 seconds on the clock for Batista. Under 30 to go here in the second.
Into the same defensive battle that we saw down the stretch in the first. And as soon as I say that, Batista's in on the legs.
He's got both. Laut trying to hold himself up. Is the clock going to run out? And it didn't. They gave him the points on the takedown.
Just before the buzzer to put Batista back on top.
The last 4 or 5 bouts, we've had a lot of buzzer beaters at the end of a round.
Laut trying his best to scramble out of it. Now Batista will start on bottom. He'll have the chance to earn an escape point here, go up by 2.
That's a big takedown because of exactly what you just said. Quickly to his feet, breaks the grip. And there's the escape point, 2-point lead.
That's almost a benefit for Laut because he's now able to strike.
Can see the difference in styles in these two wrestlers. The strikes, the shots that Laut is taking, it's quick strikes versus the slow, methodical Batista. Get in close, get that arm down to get a leg and work for the takedown.
And that's been a trend we've seen throughout this entire duel tonight. The Tar Heel wrestlers focusing on the quick strikes. That's how they've found their most success offensively. Virginia more methodical.
Second time we've seen Laut try to get away from a single leg, and because of the turning his back on the opponent, it turns the single leg into an actual takedown. Now a big lead for Batista at 8-4.
And even with Laut starting down, the chance to earn an escape point, that would only make it 8-5. Got to score twice here. Just a minute to do it.
There's the escape point for Laut, 8-5 in favor of Batista. Under a minute to go. Couple of shots for Laut. Can't get a leg as Batista is able to work his way around. There's a shot for Laut. Able to get the left leg of Batista. Gets him down for the takedown. 8-7 immediately releases. In on a shot again. 15 seconds ago, a 2-point lead for Batista. Laut trying to get to that right leg. Batista putting all the weight on. Very smart move by the veteran.
Batista's going to hang on.
He's going to earn the 3rd victory of the bout, or of the duel, for the Cavaliers. All 3 decisions, and this will finish 39 in favor of the Tar Heels.
Well, Kyle, North Carolina setting the tone with the heavyweight victory. Austin O'Connor improving to 13-0. One of multiple bonus point victories for the Tar Heels tonight. And the measuring stick shows that North Carolina, plenty of individual competitors in the ACC once again.
For Matt Krause, I'm Kyle Straub. Thanks for joining us here on Friday Night Duels. Carolina with the 39 win over Virginia. They improved to 6-6 on the year and 2-0 in ACC play. Virginia now 6-4 and 0-2 in the ACC.